Welcome to Let's Talk at the Study in Irving, Texas. I'm Michelle Riggins.
And I'm Bruce Craig.
And thank you all for joining us. So Bruce,
Yes.
topic today. What is one of your favorite artists of all time?
My favorite artist of all time, of course, is the king of pop, Michael Jackson.
Not Prince?
Well, I wouldn't say not Prince. I just said my favorite. Prince is number 2 on my list.
Okay. Well, did you know Prince was an activist and he used his music as a platform to address some of the social issues that were going on in our time?
I'm not surprised because there was a time when he was protesting his record label and he became the artist formerly known as, and so I knew that he was some type of activist, rebellious in a way.
Well, I learned something new. The couple of songs that I thoroughly enjoyed were actually songs of some sort of protest, like Baltimore with the Freddie Gray situation, America, the Sign of the Times, like one of my favorites. Who would have known? Did you know?
I did not, especially the Baltimore one. That's pretty recent.
Absolutely.
And of course, I listened to Prince back in the 80s and early 90s, and I didn't follow him, in the 2000s. But that's, I'm not surprised because he certainly is an activist. It is
right. And history has shown many musicians have protested through their music. I mean, we've heard the Marvin Gaye, James Brown, many artists. They protest through their music, but we enjoy the music so much, a lot of times we miss the mark.
Right. And Prince was such an interesting, unique musician, very talented.
Absolutely.
Extremely talented. So, again, I'm not surprised that he used his music. The thing with Prince is that we have a different viewpoint of him because he didn't seem to talk much in public. But I heard him on an interview one time, and I was just completely blown away with the depth of his knowledge and his understanding about the world around him, because sometimes we believe that artists are separated from the world around them. But he was very much involved.
Right, and he put the words to the music, pen
Yes,
to the paper. So what other childhood interests did you find yourself missing?
Well, I don't want to date myself, but I grew up in an age where wrestling was big, Fritz von Erich, and all those people.
Okay.
And of course, when the wrestling would go off, then roller derby would come on. It was women going around and around and around the roller rink.
Okay, yeah, when I used to go to the roller rink, we wasn't bumping each other though. We were like, trying to show out a little bit, But you're right. And today's special guest, we have 2 young ladies with the North Texas Roller Derby League that's going to give us a little more insight that roller derby is still alive and well.
Wow, very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Welcome back to Let's Talk. And as promised, we have a couple of guests here who are involved in something that I thought was dead a long time ago. It's called roller derby. We have with us Caitlin Muncie and Sarah McRoberts.
Hello.
And they are both part of modern day roller derby.
Yes,
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
So, I'm interested in knowing what drew your attention to roller derby.
You want to go first or want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Honestly, what got me into roller derby was merely a suggestion from a friend. Probably late 2015, she said, hey, there's a women's league in Denton. This looks like something you would totally be into. Check it out. And I was like, okay. And I went to a practice January 2016, and I never skated growing up. So I went to this practice with no experience. It was Bambi on ice. I was like falling all over the place. And I was like, you know what? I am really bad at this right now, but these women are pretty cool. So I'm gonna come back. And I couldn't until I finished up like junior year of college, like due to schedule stuff. So I came back August 2016, and then I joined officially then.
Okay.
I went to my first game in 2010 and was immediately hooked. I saw these women who were skating, and having grown up taking artistic skating lessons, it was totally different. And they were hitting each other, but laughing about it and having a great time. I'm like, I can do this. I want to do this. And it took me about 4 years. Then I moved to Texas, and I was like, that's it. I'm doing derby. I'm going to find a league, and I'm going to do it. And I found there's a league in Dallas, but they don't have like open tryouts. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to wait. That's fine. And then my friend told me about our league in Denton, and I was like, done, say no more. I emailed them, was like, when can I start? And then I went to the next practice and was just like, that's it, I'm done, we're doing this. I bought all my gear, and it's been about 4.5 years now, and I love it. I love the community, the culture, the contact, of course, is a huge draw-in. You get to hit your friend.
Contact. I mean, is there potential for injury?
Yeah, definitely a huge potential
Oh,
for
there you
injury.
go. She's got tape on.
Me personally, I've had about 3 concussions, 2 broken nose, and I completely tore the ligament in my left ankle. But
Oh, wow.
Sounds like too much contact.
I mean,
It's worth
it
it.
happens.
I promise it's worth it.
I mean, a little concussion here or there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine. That's why we have
hadn't had
helmets.
one of those, right?
It's multiple impact. It's fine. It can take a beating.
The adrenaline makes it pretty fun too. Like, it's like, okay, like I got injured, but like, you know, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like half the fun. I don't know. It's a weird paradox. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, you take a big hit and you go down laughing, and you just get up and you shake it off and you keep skating.
Wow.
Do you practice? Do y'all have practice?
Oh yeah, we practice a lot.
The travel teams were expected to practice at least twice a week. They have extra practices for like all league, and then they expect us to work out outside of practice. So there's definitely certain requirements both during like practice and then outside of the rink as well that we're expected to maintain. We have minimum practice credits each month before a game to prepare ourselves as well.
Okay. Do you have coaches?
Oh yes, we do. We actually have a really great coach. He's married to one of our skaters as well, which is kind of how he got introduced to our team specifically. And he's just become more and more involved, and then took over coaching last season. So this is his 2nd season coaching us. And then we have a retired men's team USA skater who as our bench coach. So we have some really talented people helping us this year.
Now, many years ago, when I used to watch roller derby on TV, the track was slanted. Is that still the same? Are there any changes?
It's changed to flat track. There's still bank track in existence, but to make it more accessible for other leagues across the country and around the world, flat track was initiated because also there's a liability factor with bank track. They're costly and just
Hard to maintain and upkeep and keep safe. And having a flat track means that you can travel and you can go other places, and it gives you more options for venues as well. Most leagues don't have their own facility, so they kind of have to figure it out. They rent out event centers or warehouses, roller rinks, gyms, and stuff like that. You just kind of find a smooth, flat surface, throw down some tape, and make it happen.
Yeah. This is local, right?
Yes. Yep. We are based out of Denton, Texas.
Oh, if someone wanted to go to a game, do you call them games or
We call them games or bouts.
about?
Yeah. Because, it's like a bout, like a fight.
So, Caitlin, you mentioned that you've been in roller derby about a year and a half. So, Sarah, for you, how long have you been roller derby?
I've been doing derby for about 4.5 years. So this is my 5th season skating. And I tried out and made the all-star team, our Fighting Unicorns. So that's been like a huge accomplishment for me.
Okay.
So I've been with the Fighting Unicorns for about 3 seasons. I took last season off. I tried to retire, but that didn't work out. So here I am.
So both of you ladies are in the same league,
Yes.
but play for different teams. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct. I'm on the B team, which is the Battling Mermaids.
Okay.
Yep.
And you were the
Fighting Unicorns. Yep.
Unicorns. Okay. So explain to us how the differences of the two levels of teams, and how you're ranked, or if there's a rankings,
Yeah.
and how that all kind of works.
plays
Because
out.
I'm like totally blinded at the same time. I'm like excited because I'm like, I haven't seen this since I was a kid. To know that it
Yeah.
still exists is like,
So the Fighting Unicorns is our all-star travel team. So we travel nationwide. We've been to Missouri, Michigan, Florida, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. So we travel all over and play teams that are ranked as well to fight, to rise in rankings. There's different divisions. Right now we're Division 3. We're hoping to get Division 2 by the end of the season, and it's totally doable. So the A team will play sanctioned games against other ranked teams. And then our B team, which is the Battling Mermaids, and they play more regionally against other B teams, or they also can play against ranked teams as well. And so they're doing really well.
Yeah.
Is there a workout regimen that you have to go through to prepare?
I mean, you should.
Yeah, there's definitely certain muscle groups to focus on when it comes to like training and preparing for Derby. Definitely your legs, because I mean we're constantly using them.
Yeah, you squat a lot.
Yeah,
There's
squats
a lot
every
of
day.
it, all day.
There's also a lot of core engagement with your abs, because that's really responsible for balance. And then surprisingly some upper body strength to like push through the blockers and take hits and give hits and receive hits. It's a full body workout, and then it's excellent cardio. So
Yeah.
it's the best of both worlds, and it definitely keeps people in shape. I joke it's a fountain of youth.
Yes.
might need to consider that, but I don't want to be in the ring.
Well, there's other ways to be involved besides skating. You could
Okay.
be a non-skating official. So we need people to keep the score, like write down the scores and write down penalties, which is always hilarious. Time our penalties, because there's things that you can't do in Derby, and you get in trouble when you do them. And there's all kinds of stuff to be involved without, taking a hit.
Yeah. And you can yell, if you like yelling at people, you can be a referee.
Or a fan. Yeah.
Cool. So the skates,
Yes.
are they your typical skates that I can go Walmart.com and get? Or
I
are they-
would definitely not do Derby in Walmart skates. These are typically more of like a speed skate style.
Okay.
Artistic skates have a higher boot, and they come up for more support on your ankle. So those will be the kinds that you get like if you are going to like an open skate and you have rental skates. They'll
Okay.
be a little bit higher. So these are lower to give you more mobility with your ankles. And then the trucks, which is this part here, you definitely want to have a metal truck because the plastic ones will break. And
imagine.
I mean, I've seen some skaters actually break these too, but I've had these for a while and they're pretty good. They smell terrible, but they work great.
Do you wear any other type of padding? I see you have a helmet
Yeah,
there.
so you have a helmet and there's wrist guards, elbow pads, and knee pads, and a mouth guard.
Okay.
Definitely want to have knee pads and a mouth guard.
Some people wear like padded shorts. Nature gave me enough for that, so that's fine.
Yeah, and some people wear like shin guards, like
Yep.
from soccer as well.
Oh, and they have face shields now
Yeah.
too, which I have a love-hate relationship with. So, I mean, they're great for not breaking your nose again, but sometimes they'll like
Again?
chop. It's been a couple, but when they come into the wall and like a jammer has a face shield and they'll like karate chop you across the arm with the
Yeah.
bottom of their face shield, and that's not fun.
So how many rollers Is that correct?
Skaters.
Skaters, okay.
There we
I
go.
thought I was going to get it right. How many skaters are on the rink at the same time in a given game?
All right, in a given game, there will be 15 skaters per team, but there will be 5 players from each team actually skating on the track.
Okay.
4 of those skaters will be blockers, and then one of those skaters from each team is going to be a jammer.
Okay. So I know they have the adult team. So are there any teams established for children?
Yes,
There are, yeah.
We actually have a junior roller derby league that is co-ed in Denton. It's called North Texas Fallout.
Okay.
It's ages 6 to 17.
6 to
Or
like
8 to
17 and a half.
Okay.
And then once they hit 17 and a half, they can start practicing with the adults.
Okay.
But they have to, I believe the rules is they have to finish high school, or they have until they finish high school to age out of junior derby. So if they turn 18 and they're still in high school, they can finish the season. And then once they graduate, they have to move up to the adults.
Then it's no longer co-ed.
Correct. Yeah, there are some co-ed teams. There's the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, and you have to identify as a woman to be affiliated as a skater with WIFTA. There is a men's league, the Men's Roller Derby Association, and I believe they've opened it up to all skaters, so anybody can skate with the men's team. That is predominantly male, but juniors does tend to be co-ed.
How do you get on your team? Are there tryouts or?
To start, we have just an open training program. So you can drop in at any time and start the training process. So you don't have to have any experience at all.
Yeah,
You don't
zero.
have to know how to skate at all.
Nope.
Right, yeah. Our fresh meat, it's fresh meat or our Rising Phoenixes.
Fresh meat? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Some people will call the training program fresh meat, but we also call our training program the Rising Phoenixes.
Okay.
And it's you don't have to have any experience. You don't have to have like any kind of athletic background. A lot of the ladies that have started skating with us, they didn't come from athletic backgrounds or have any prior skating experience. I'm an exhibit. I was not good in PE in high school or anything. But that's our training program, and it's self-paced. You have 3 levels that you assess through, and we do assessments on a monthly or every 2-month sort of basis, and usually it goes anywhere from like knowing how to stop, knowing how to fall safely, to certain contact or jumping or transitioning, various things.
Okay. So how would someone reach you if they're interested in either attending one of the bouts or being a participant as a volunteer or a skater?
So if they want to watch any of our games, we have a website, NorthTexasRollerDerby.com. We also have an active Facebook page that has our season schedule on there, so they can see all of our dates. And then we also post Facebook events, so that way people can see kind of specific information on like halftime shows or who exactly we're playing for that game, those kind of specifics. And then as for how to get involved, whether it's skating or being a non-skating official or refereeing or even being a sponsor for our league, they can contact info@NorthTexasRollerDerby.com, and then they can be directed from there to either our training director or sponsors team, media, etc.
Okay, awesome.
Absolutely. And when's the next game?
So we have an upcoming game, April 28th, Saturday, April 28th.
Yep.
It's a doubleheader. And then after that, we have another one the weekend after that, Saturday, May 5th. Also a doubleheader.
And how long is the season? Or is there a season?
We definitely have a season. Our season this year started in January, and it will go till about July, August-ish. Sometimes we have games into September, but for the most part, we have November and December and October too off, where it's kind of our off season. We'll have informal scrimmages that are just kind of fun and themed, and other skaters will drop in and play. And we had a Harry Potter themed scrimmage once. We call them mashups. And it's just, we try to have fun with it and get people involved and just have a good time.
Caitlin and Sarah, it has been most interesting to have you here.
Absolutely.
We have enjoyed it immensely, and I thought it was dead.
It is not.
It is not.
There
It's
come
alive.
on. Yeah,
We'll
show
show
you
it
just how alive it
I want
is.
to come out and see it. I don't want to participate.
I
Right.
expect to see y'all the next game.
We can teach you how to skate.
Okay.
I know how to
You're never
skate,
too
but
old.
the
Never
other
too old.
parts, I don't know.
It's 18 and up,
Okay.
and up and up.
Yeah, you're never too old to play roller derby or skate.
Nope.
Well, that's nice to hear, but I think I'll remain a spectator. But I do want to see you go after it.
For
But I don't
sure.
want to see you get another concussion.
I mean, you know, what's one more?
That's one.
It's worth it.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Welcome to our Veterans Talk segment with Miss Carisha Smith and her service dog, Chloe. So what is our topic today?
Our topic today would be about privatizing the VA, the hospital, that is. I'm not sure if clinics would come under that category, but what I would have to say about privatizing the VA, well, let me back up. That means if you're going to the VA hospital and the doctors and the staff is overloaded, and there are many, many veterans that cannot be seen within a certain amount of time.
Which is typical, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely, which is what happened with me. That means that they're going to be sent out to a civilian hospital. And from my understanding, I am hearing that they may start trying to defund the VA hospital. And that's what privatizing is talking about. My concern is, and I'm hearing it from so many veteran women, what are they going to do when they have an emergency and they have to go to these civilian hospitals and they already have a number of patients there? They're going to be overloaded with veteran women and, of course, the veteran men as well. So we do not need to have it privatized. What needs to happen, in my opinion, is we could have that hospital to be a backup plan, like Plan B. Meaning if you go to the VA hospital and they are not able to see you in a timely fashion, you should be able to go to the hospital of your choice. Even if you're having an emergency situation and you're out of town, of course you may not be near a VA facility. Therefore, you would need to go to Plan B, which is the backup hospital for services.
Right, because there's only a limited number of VA hospitals throughout the country. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, that would actually make sense.
It absolutely makes sense. And another thing I would like to express my opinion on, as far as the directors, I believe it's called the Secretary of the VA or the Department of Veteran Affairs. Anyway, my concern is the one person being overloaded with the United States and, of course, overseas. What should happen is they should have a director of the VA facilities, and they should break them down in regions, like 4 different regions for the United States, and then another region for overseas. And that way, it's like a hierarchy. You would have someone taking care of the lower end of the, or should I say not the lower end, but the 4 categories in the United States and then overseas, and they report to that one director. That way it's not so much on one person. It's kind of like it was when I was in the military. The general was here, and he had all the other locations under him, or her, if it's a young lady. And they would report to that individual, and that way it would make things go a lot smoother. They wouldn't have so much on their plate, because whoever's going to be in there, regardless if you've been in the military, you've run another hospital, or you hadn't done that at all, it's going to be very overwhelming. And it's hard to clean up something when you can't reach everybody and hear exactly what's going on in each region, because some regions are different than others. So therefore, we need to have more than one director for the VA hospital with the 4 regions and the director, and of course overseas. And I think things would run a little bit more smoother that way.
And, would you define what you mean by the need or the privatization of the VA. What does that mean?
Well, I'm hearing it on both sides. Some of the veterans would prefer to have it privatized to receive their medical treatment in a more timely fashion. But then you have the others who, in my opinion, is thinking the way I'm thinking. You wouldn't want it to just be privatized where you would only go to a civilian hospital. You would want to have it where it would be a backup plan. And believe me, it would work so much better if it was that way. And also if we had more of a hotline where we could call and express our opinions. Of course, if we have a hotline, they're going to be overloaded. And therefore, they're not going to be able to reach every veteran. So that's why I'm talking about these different regions. And then they report to the director, and that way when they have their regions, their 4 regions broken down, and they'll be able to communicate that way. And it would seem like you would see more over here in Section 4 versus what's going over in 2 or 3 in 1. Because some issues more over in this region may have more of a rural area versus of, I guess, clinics or what have you, or brain injuries or PTSD or military sexual assault and so on and so forth. And some veterans have a combination of these things, plus many more illnesses.
Wow. So do you think at any point, like some of the veterans we know are homeless and some are homebound.
Yes.
Do you think at some point it would be feasible for them in those categories that you named to also extend where specialists or doctors can go visit those people where they are when transportation may be an issue, and the fact that someone's homeless clearly doesn't have a vehicle?
Absolutely.
I mean, some people do, yes, but for the most part, like you said, there's a limited amount of VA hospitals throughout the nation.
Yes.
So for someone that may even have a vehicle, who's to say that they'll be able to travel 3 hours away
Correct.
to a VA hospital?
Absolutely.
So do you think that would be something that should be implemented as well? If I can't get to you, I can't get to one of your clinics, somebody should be able to get to me.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm talking about when we're always hearing America say, we love the veterans, we support the veterans, and yet they're left homeless. You should not be going to serve your country, or you should not be serving your country and you come back and you have no place to lay your head. That's what I'm speaking about. That just irritates me. I hear it all the time, and I just cry. I'm hurt inside. And many times, I don't have a lot of funds, but many times I've stopped and I've tried to help them, pray for them, give them some funds so they can eat. But I'm thinking, wow, with me driving off, they're still there.
Right.
I come through the next day, they're still there. They're with their signs. What is going on here? It's just no way in the world you should lift your hand and say, I will protect foreign and domestic, and then I come back. We love the veterans, we support the veterans, and then you don't hear from your elected officials until it's time for a vote. They can find your name, they can hunt you down, they can pass you by, they can mail you different things, they can even text you. But they cannot go out and reach these men and women who are suffering and hurting. And it's not just the veterans that's homeless. Sometimes it's the whole family.
Yes.
That should not be happening, not in America. If we could send a man to the moon and back, we should be able to get out there and take a stance and say, this is not happening no more. This ain't happening no more. We just got to get real with this. And until we get real about it, it's never going to happen. We, veteran women, since I have these 2 organizations, need to go out and speak and say, hey, we can't do this anymore. We need to hold our elected officials accountable. It's time to step up and step out and speak truth to power, and this is what I'm speaking about now. I just don't like seeing my homeless brothers and sisters, particularly the women, and with my podcast, Veteran Women Formation, that is, I'm going to go and find these homeless veteran women and record their stories to put them out there before America so they can see how many of our women are homeless and they shouldn't be homeless. And what are we going to do to make sure they're no longer homeless and they're able to find a roof over their head so they can sleep at night and eat some decent food, because this is a country that they served. So it's time for the country to come and serve them as well. We just don't want to hear that stalemate We love the veterans. We support the veterans because that's what you're supposed to say. But if I come to you with a sign and I say, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I need help, what would you do? Or what would you say? I'm just looking for a vote. It was founded on God's principles. We took an oath. We're defending the flag, the red, the white, and the blue. Those colors don't run. Well, we don't need to be running when we see the veterans coming home and they're needing our help. We need to stand there barefoot and look them in the face and say, we love you. We're not just telling you we love you. We're going to show you how much we love you. And we want to be there for you at all times.
And you have a wonderful organization that
Thank you.
started.
Yes.
And would you tell us the name of that organization again, and how to get in touch with it?
Yes. My organization is called Association of Veteran Women, Inc., and our website for that organization is aovwinc.org. Our email is aovwinc@aol.com, and the phone number is 817-461-5116. And please, please, please do not forget about Veteran Women Formation. That website is veteranwomenformation.org. And I'm looking to hear from you. Thank you. And another issue I would like to speak about, which we will probably speak about it more in the future. I first applied for VA benefits back in 1981. Excuse me, not 81. I joined in 81, in 84. And I'm still waiting on those VA benefits from 1984. I hadn't received it. And I'm still waiting on them very patiently. So until we start speaking, that they always say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you're sitting there and you're quiet, nothing's going to happen. If you're making noise, the right kind of noise, not cussing people out, because I would not do that. I would want to treat you the way I want to be treated. But I'm going to stand and speak truth to power and let you know that I am still due my benefits from 1984. And that should not be going on in this time in America, but yet and still it is. Day in and day out, not just me, but so many other stories out there just like mine.
Right. So what are they saying that is taking so long for you to get your benefits, or to be acknowledged that, hey, we have your paperwork, we're waiting on something else, or we need something else, or we don't have enough proof? What is the reasoning to be holding someone's benefits that they're rightly entitled to for so long?
It's the red tape. That's exactly what it is. I'm not sure if they don't have the right people. They may have the right people. Some of the people there are veterans, and they know what we're going through. And other people are just there because they love us and they want to help us. But as sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, I just feel deep down in my heart that they need to have the right people at each facility to make sure each and every person gets the deserved attention that they should receive their benefits on time. And that's not happening. We don't want to be overlooked anymore. We don't want to be pushed back in the corner anymore. We do not want to be told we love the veterans and we support the veterans and still waiting year after year after year. That's just so unfair. When we step up to the line to serve our country, we do not tell you, give me 5 years, give me 2 years. What do? We go in right away and serve. Some of us lose our lives. Some people lose their limbs, and others, we have challenges with our mind. Some have brain injury, traumatic brain injury, that is, and PTSD and military sexual assault. And they still love this country, and they would do it again in a heartbeat. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But I'm going to tell you something. With our next generation coming up behind us, we need to make sure we are there for them, to support them, and give them the support that we haven't deserved, give them the support that we haven't received on time, but to make sure they're getting the deserved support that they need on time.
So I have one final question, and it may be a little bit off subject, but I think it's still in line with the president wanting to spend $30 million on a parade.
Yes.
Another parade. I mean, we've already marched, we've sung, we've held hands, we've done all that. That's not getting people off the concrete.
No.
So what are your feelings in regards to that? And if you had an opportunity to go to the White House or whatever and speak to him face to face in the Senate and whoever else that can make a change, what would you say to them in regards to that $30 million that would get a lot of people off the street and feed them?
Well, first of all, if I were to speak to the president, I would first pray and pray very hard. What I would like to say to him is, with him not having any experience as far as working in the government or being in the military, this is not a game. Ain't no shame in my game, but I'm going to tell you, we need to pray for our troops, we need to support our troops, and we need to make sure we're taking care of our troops. But I tell you what, with that $30 million for that parade, we need to take that money and go and feed the homeless veterans that are sleeping in the streets. Start a foundation for the children who are left behind when their mom and dad lose their lives in the military or they cannot work. We need to make sure we set up college funds so they can go to school. We need to make sure they're not hungry anymore. And we need to make sure we get them all their medical, receive all their medical records to get them all their medications, and to make sure we have enough counselors there for PTSD, traumatic brain injury, the military sexual assault. This is a whole new explosive subject. We haven't even hit on that yet. Not the Me Too movement for the veteran women, but that's coming. So I'm just praying that Congress hears this, the local, state, federal government, not just continuously tell us we support the veterans and we love the veterans, but that parade, many people are telling me they could find better things to do with $30 million, and I most certainly could. We already have parades. I was thinking they were free, but I would not be spending $30 million on a parade because you said you were going to drain the swamp, and it just seems like it's just getting swampier and swampier and swampier. We have to take care of our troops. We have to. That's all I have to say is just please think about us. Pray about it before you make any decisions in sending them to war, because those are someone's family members out there. They're sons and daughters and mothers and fathers, and we want to see them come back alive and whole. And if not, we just need to be there for them. But I just feel that $30 million could be better spent, and not on a parade, but on the troops and their families.
Well said.
Yes.
Strong words.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much
Thank
for being
you.
with us.
Thank you.
As usual.
Yes.
Very insightful
Thank
and
you.
very much needed. And we're going to keep ringing bells, knocking down doors,
Correct.
doing what we need to do
Absolutely.
to help as citizens. I haven't been in the military. I have family members that are.
Yes.
Regardless, we all have to stand together.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're absolutely right. Without your service
Yes.
and those like you, we wouldn't be afforded the things that we are afforded today.
Absolutely.
And in order to keep that, we got to make sure you guys are good.
Yes, and what people too need to understand is when the service member is in the military, the whole family serves.
Absolutely.
They have to understand that. You have to understand that that's a serious thing right there. You may not actually be wearing a uniform, but you are.
Mm-hmm.
And we love you and we support you, and we just thank America for supporting us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say it enough.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you.
America.